Peace and love, creatives. Well, today we are using the actual watercolor sketchbook from Five Below. This one is marketed as a watercolor sketchbook. The pages are super thick and durable. And is it amazing watercolor paper? No, it's not. But it's decent. With that being said, I'm using this with markers today. Like, we're gonna play with markers. I will do a watercolor illustration towards the end, but we're looking at this sketchbook with markers. And okay, I have to warn you, the markers so bleed. Like, they bleed through the page, they bleed on the front of the page, and you might not like that as far as bleed through is concerned, because it just like it seeps into the page, you know what I mean? And for most illustrations, especially if you're trying to keep it in the lines, you're probably going to be disappointed using marker on this paper. But I actually had so much fun making these little woodsy illustrations with this marker paper because of the bleed. It was so nice. It just made the leaves marry together nice. It made the back of the woods look like the back of the woods. My first piece here that I just finished, I was having fun. I wanted to just throw colors. I didn't care for it to make sense. I just wanted to have fun with this sketchbook spread. And oh my gosh, so much fun I did have. This illustration that I'm doing now is actually my favorite one. I think I want to do like another illustration with mushrooms again, because this one has mushrooms, and just like play with how I made the mushrooms in this piece and just expand on it, because I just love the way the markers sat on top of each other and the effect that it gave the whole entire illustration once I was done. It's wonderful. I love it. I was talking to my girlfriend about this piece, and she was recommending that I do a little bit of pencil lining. I kind of outline Froggy a little bit, but besides the frog, I don't do any more outlines on this piece with pencil. So I'm curious, should I? Is that something that I should do? Will it make the piece pop out a little bit more? Let me know in the comments if you think I should. Yeah, but I love this piece. It's so pretty. I love the way I made the mushroom. Just the background it's all very, very simple, but it was so much fun to do. I just had a blast doing it. Now this is probably the weakest link on this illustration, on this spread, and I'm okay with that because I had fun and I was just experimenting with different colors and making landscapes otherworldly, I guess. And I even played around with my colorless blender and putting a color on top and seeing how that did, just because of the bleed that I was getting with this paper. I'm like, you know what, let me play around and see, what happens. So the colorless blender kind of like, I don't use it for blending. I don't know if what I used it for here wasn't blending. It was kind of just like lightening up a color, you know what I mean? And if I would have put the colorless blender after I put the color down, it would have made it much lighter and maybe even a little bit patchy. So what I did was I laid down the colorless blender and then I put the color on top. Now, I don't know why I decided to do this piece like this, but there it is. I don't know. I even changed the color of the moon. I said question mark. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay and weird looking, and I'm all right with that. This piece here was just me, again, just trying to figure out like how I would go about layering and making trees and the different textures of the trees, and if I could even achieve what I have in my head and put it on paper. And for the most part, it comes out really nice. I like the way that those trees and the branches came out. And in this final piece, I actually wanted to give the effect of like a winter scene. Like, you know, everything has died down and the leaves have fallen and snow is on the floor. And it changes the colors of the trees. So I wanted to make that, make the trees look like, make it look like that. And yeah, and in this piece here where I write markers, I just like the bleeding in to each other. The ink is just so satisfying and good. I just love it. I should not love it so much, but I definitely love it. It bled outside of the lines and everything, but I didn't care. I did not care. It was great. I love markers on this sketchbook. I don't love watercolor so much on this sketchbook, but it's okay because markers are very fun on the sketchbook. I'm not crazy about the design of this sketchbook because it's like the long way and then the spirals are on the top of the sketchbook as opposed to the side of the sketchbook, and I'm not used to working like that, so it takes getting used to. And of course, like I did here, I can turn it on the side and do art like that. But I don't know, this was not my favorite. It wasn't in the first video I spoke about this. It wasn't my favorite, and I honestly just chalked it up to maybe it's it was me and I just but yeah, it's not my favorite, although I did a gouache painting with this paper and I like the way it came out too. I do like the way the gouache painting came out. So watercolor, no, not so much, but marker, yes, I do like the way the marker looks, and definitely gouache. So I don't know, it's not going to be a sketchbook that I run to make art, but I got it and I'm going to use it because that's just what it is. That's what I do. And here's all the bleed through that you get with this marker, with this sketchbook, and it's to be expected. So just make sure you protect the sheet underneath so that you don't have it bleeding on to the next page as well. And then here I'm using my Karataki watercolor set, and it's a stiff painting of a girl, but I am trying to move into a little bit more hand gestures and not being shy to put hands in there. Even if they come out wonky, you're not going to get better if you don't at least make an effort. And why not make the effort in the sketchbook that you purchase to practice your art, right? So here I have her just, with the hand up, and it's kind of like 5 below hand, doing the 5 or just saying hi. So you can take it either way. I'm okay with that. But this was also like a redemption to the first painting that I did. I talk about that later on in the video, so I'll let it be. But how good is this plaid? I love the way it came out. I want to draw plaid again. I do, and I want to just make it even more intricate. I know. It's the little things, I tell you. It's the little things. But I love the way she came out. I think she looks adorable. She's a little stiff. I'm working on it. And yeah, I didn't do too much with the background. I kind of was done with art at this point, and I just wanted to be finished. So I did the final touches. I outlined, put a little bit more color in the background with the pencil that I was shading her with, and then I was done. So this is where I left off with the watercolor painting. I wasn't a fan of my first go, and I feel like, I don't know, this is not the paper for something so big, maybe, I don't know, or maybe I just need to get better, probably the latter. Anyway, so this is where I'm staying with that, and then if we turn to the following page, there is our markers. For the markers, I would be cautious. It's very bleedy, you know what I mean? So just, I would be careful with that. I love the way it came out though. I will be using my markers on this paper. I don't recommend it because it's gonna like suck your markers dry, but the effect that it gives, it's actually really pretty. So yeah, I like the markers. I like watercolor on it. But again, this paper is nice and thick, and I can probably get a lot of other things on, like mediums on this paper, like maybe Poscas and stuff. But for the most part, I really do think that the other, it's just a better layout. The other book is much thinner, so if you want a thicker paper, I would go with this. It's nice. It's not amazing watercolor paper. Don't think you're gonna get like a steal of a deal with this. It's not watercolor paper at all, but you can have fun with it. You can play around, you know, and I think you have a good time. And that is it. If I do any more sketchbook sessions in these sketchbooks, it's probably gonna be after I finish my other sketchbooks. So I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love.